just finished Shadow of the Colossus. So we're gonna talk about this game, give a little my personal opinion on the game, right? So, if you don't know what this game is, it came out in 2002. I'm sorry, 2005. I have no idea why 2002 is in my mind. But anyway, 2005. It is apparently a prequel to Ico. And I guess The Last Guardian is a sequel to Ico. So if you don't know what Ico is, you can look that up. But anyway, what is it? Well, from what I can gather, it's kind of like an action platformer game, right? There's a lot of running, jumping, and carrying on. You do have a sword and a bow and arrow, and that's pretty much it. And that's all you need. That really, it makes it great for that. You know, it's just pretty simple, but works perfectly. Your job is to go all over this huge open world to find these giant, and I mean giant, monsters to fight. Okay, there's no in-between stuff. There's no little mobs here and there that you got to fight to get to the big guy. No, you're just going straight to the big guy, duking it out with him, and that's pretty much the game. It is primarily just you versus an X amount of bosses, really. They're really just boss fights. There's plenty here. There's like 16 fights altogether. And you definitely wish there was more, because it is quite it is quite amazing for what they give you. So yeah, like what Sklag said, it's really an action platformer kind of game. That's the best way I can describe it. And there's nothing much else to it. You're just going from point A to point B, getting to these boss fights. There are some little things that you can go pick up, like there's like salamanders on the ground, and if you get the one with the white tails, they boost your grip ability, and they also, and another one that doesn't glow helps you with your health or something. Now, the grip ability is important, okay? So because you have to use that to climb giant things like that you see in the video. Every boss fight is different. They all have a certain trick to them. Figuring that out and before you die is usually the key to winning the fights. So, well, what's cool about it? Well, quite frankly, look at it. Look at the size of that thing. I mean, oh my gosh, shock and awe. Amazing. I mean, you just are blown. This is PlayStation 2, 2005, and it's amazing. Just, I can't believe how cool that looks. I was just blown away from the second I started playing this game. Couldn't believe it. I mean, I've never seen anything like it before. It's a unique experience. There's nothing else I've ever played that puts you in the position of battling things that huge. I've never seen it. So, quite frankly, that's what's cool about it. There's nothing like it. You know, there are certain games that you could only find that experience on that game, and that's it. And this is that game. You know, you're not going to find this experience battling things this huge one-on-one. You're just a flea, and it's a massive Godzilla-sized monster, and you have to fight and destroy it. And there's nothing else out there that does that. Nothing. And that's quite a shock to me. I can't believe that there is... This is PlayStation 2. You're telling me 360, PlayStation 4, or PlayStation 3 didn't come out with anything else comparable? With the graphics that they could do? The best they could do is re-release this game as an HD collection, which is what you're watching right now. This is the re-release. So it's still PlayStation 2 graphics. It's just upscaled to 1080p. Really? That's an entire generation of games couldn't make anything nearly as cool as this. That's amazing. That blows my mind. Here's to hoping for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One doing something cool, all right? What else is cool about it? Well, like I was mentioning earlier, I like that it's simple. You got your sword, you got your bow, that's it. It didn't really overcomplicate things. you know, they could have gone with a Dark Souls route. I mean, we got to collect all kinds of gear and go all over the place. They didn't do that. Maybe they should have. Maybe it would have made the game even more in depth, even more epic, even more longer. You know, because you have to go collect all this stuff. But it also serves its purpose well. They want you to deal with these giant monsters, and I think they sold that the only thing you need to worry about is dealing with this giant thing in your face. So yeah, I guess in that aspect, the simplicity also really helps it out. You know, and I also love that it's a huge open world. I didn't run into a single loading screen, to tell you the truth. Maybe they hid that because after you kill a boss, you go back to the start of the zone. Well, you know, in the center of the map, really. And you're guided to where, you know, hey, you should hold up your sword, and it guides you to where you need to go. Kind of like, you know, power, you know, by the power of Grayskull kind of way, you know. So that's also very simplistic. There's just a huge open world. There's not that much to explore, I wouldn't say. It's not there for you to explore. It's just there to give you these large open areas to fight these giant monsters. So maybe that's something else they could do in a sequel. You know, make the world more interesting. You know, different things in it and stuff. Not just the Colossus, but what sucked about it? Jeez, I'm having a hard time thinking of what sucked. I can only think of one time in the entire game where I looked and the character just didn't fit his background. You know, and that was in a weird, you know, zigzag with the ground. It looked like the ground was a portrait, and he was just like a CGI character. You know, like Jar Jar Binks in Star Wars Episode 1. You remember how fake he looked, like during the Tatooine scenes and stuff? I got that maybe once during this entire game. Any other time, I mean, the controls were pretty solid. The music was amazing. I loved the music. Gameplay was good. If you would get stuck, you know, like you'd have trouble with a boss. But eventually you'd figure it out. You know, I had people in chat helping me, and you obviously can look up internet anywhere at this point. But I think for the most part, as a player, you eventually kind of figure it out, because the game just kind of leads you to, oh, that's weird. Why is those towers here? They must have something to do with the boss fight. So, you know, stuff like that. You know what I mean? If you just stop and think, it pretty much helps you figure it out. I can't really, I don't know what to say. Maybe the only thing I could say that sucks, right, is that it doesn't do a great job in explaining how to get your health bar up, how to get your grip meter larger. I don't know if that happens because you killed the Colossi, or if it's because you got salamander tails, or what. I don't know. So maybe they could, but you know, it really, character growth didn't really matter as much. You know, it's like I didn't have health bar throughout the entire game, and you know, I climbed to the tallest Colossus and then fell all the way down, and I didn't die, so it wasn't that big of a deal. And the grip bar, you just have to be quick. You know, not really quick. I mean, it gives you a pretty long time to climb to where you need to climb, but you do need to take some time at some point to rest on the Colossus. Once you get its pattern down, you can figure that out pretty good. So again, don't have a lot of negative to say about the game. There's nothing really popping up in my mind. It didn't feel repetitive. It felt, every boss fight felt different and fresh. You have to attack the special points of the boss to bring them down, and that's fine. That's, you know, that's a game mechanic, but it's a good one. It gave you focus. It gave you reason to climb all over him. You know, this giant monster. Where, you know, what are you gonna do? Just get up there with your sword and stab it in the stomach 27 times before it dies? No. You know, so they got to give you some kind of reason to move around and deal with this thing. So then I guess the next question is it worth it, right? What's the price? It's the Ico, like for the PlayStation 3, it's the Ico Shadow of the Colossus HD collection, right? So if you got a PS3, that's what you buy. Now, I'm assuming that it's probably pretty damn cheap right now. It's probably $19.99 brand new, probably $14.99, you know, as a used price, maybe $9.99. I bet you could get it for $9.99. I think you can even get it off PSN. I don't know how much it is on PSN. I would imagine it would also be $20 on PSN, but you cannot play this on the PlayStation 4. You cannot play. Excuse me, it's getting a little late. You cannot play any of these kind of games on the PlayStation 4. The PlayStation 4 is for PlayStation 4 only games. It's a completely different working thing. So if you want to play this, you have to either have a PlayStation 2 or you have to have a PlayStation 3. Period. If you do have, if you don't have a PS3 but you do have a PS2, and it'd be amazing if you did, you know, you can still pick it up for the PS2 and have a blast playing it. It is an amazing, amazing work of art by a team that hasn't made a new game for an entire generation. The Last Guardian is supposed to be their next game, and that's been delayed, canceled, started back up, canceled, delayed. Who knows what's going on? But I don't know if it's going to be anything like this. It would be nice to see either a Shadow of the Colossus remake or a Shadow of the Colossus 2. I'd probably go with a 2. And, you know, they could throw in a whole bunch of cool new elements, you know, like more RPG elements and stuff like that. But yeah, it's well worth it. It's an experience. It's an experience game. It's not one of those games that you just grind through it and, you know, just to be there with everybody else. This is a game that every gamer should play once at least. You know, it's like every gamer should have at least played Mario. Every gamer should have at least played Mario. I also argue that I think every PC gamer at least should have at least played World of Warcraft at least once, because it's an experience. World of Warcraft is. It was such a good MMO when it first came out. Maybe not now, but whatever. Shadow of the Colossus is a great experience that should not be missed by anyone. If you have the ability to play it after you watch this, do so. You'll be doing yourself a huge favor. Trust me. Trust me when I tell you that this game is simply amazing and cannot be missed by any gamer anywhere in the world. And that's my opinion, but got an entire chat here tonight full of people with opinions, and I would definitely love to hear theirs. If you recommend this game, if you enjoyed watching the stream for Shadow of the Colossus, then please type a 1. If you don't recommend this game, if you were kind of bored with the experience or don't think it was quite up to what you would enjoy, then please hit a 2. I would love to hear what you guys think. Overall, that is my personal opinion, so you can take that for what it's worth. However, I do believe that if they ever make a sequel to this game, it's going to be nothing short of epic because of what they could do with graphics today. And just think about that. Think about that. This is a PlayStation 2 title. Look at those look at that. I'm just breathless. I cannot stress enough how amazing that is for a PS2 title. Right? And I'm sure it probably came out around near the end of the PS2 title existence. I think it's 2005. Well, around the time the new consoles, I think the Xbox 360 came out around that time. But you got to think, man, if they could make another game like this, it would just blow your mind what they could do. With Godzilla coming out, the new Godzilla movie, I can only hope that another developer goes, you know what? I think that we need to make more giant games like Shadow of the Colossus. I think people would be excited about that. Oh well. Anyway, that's my opinion. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all the next time. Take care.